Since the real estate crisis first started in 2008, we've all heard a great deal about loan modifications. The Obama administration and the banks have told the American homeowner that they have created a number of programs, collectively called loan modifications, that are there to help the homeowner and to avoid foreclosure. The idea is you ask your bank to modify your loan, and what they'll do for you, supposedly, is to reduce your monthly amount of your payment so that you can pay it and avoid foreclosure. It sounds very good. Unfortunately, the actual experience of most people with loan modifications has not been good. There have been a number of studies conducted on the effectiveness of loan modifications. What all of these studies have found is that relatively few people actually get a loan modification of any kind, and of those few, most of them have their mortgage modified in such a trivial manner that it doesn't really help them, and they go back into default relatively soon. I am a bankruptcy attorney. Because of what I do for a living, I'm aware of many people who have tried for loan modifications. Within my own personal experience, I know about, say roughly 300 people who've tried to get a loan modification. I know of perhaps 3 or 4 who actually got one, which really helped them. So in my experience, loan modifications have been very unsuccessful. And it's not just that you don't get a loan modification very often. I have found that the process of seeking a loan modification is a very distressing one. Here's what I've found. The banks ask you for a great deal of very personal financial information, which is hard to pull together. Things like the last couple of tax returns, an income statement, an expense statement, etc., etc. I found that people take a long time getting this information, putting it together, and sending it in. The banks almost always lose the documents. In my experience, you send in the documents, first couple of times they'll tell you, we didn't get them, send them again. We didn't get them, send them again. And then, once the banks admit they've got the documents, in my experience, they don't call you back. You, the homeowner, always have to call them. And when you call them, you don't get treated in a business-like manner. You very seldom talk to the same person at the bank twice. You almost always get a new person every time. That new person never seems to have the file, never seems to have any notes of prior conversations, never seems to have done any basic business work on your case. The banks also frequently shuffle your file from one office to another. A frequent experience I've seen is people will be dealing with the Phoenix office. They'll call and they'll say, oh, your file's been transferred to Tampa. Oh, it's been transferred to Nashville, whatever it is. The files tend to get transferred all around the country. And the banks generally don't give you a straight yes or no. What'll happen is they'll just drag it out a very long period of time. I've seen loan modifications take over a year with no resolution. All in all, the process is a very, very difficult one that consumes an enormous amount of time and frankly involves a lot of rudeness, a lot of unprofessional, unbusinesslike behavior by the bank toward the consumer. Now you might ask yourself, why are the banks treating loan modifications in this manner? The answer is simple. The banks are under no legal obligation of any type whatsoever to give you a loan modification. If you ask them to modify your mortgage, you're asking for charity. You don't have any rights in this department. This is pure charity on their part, and of course, most businesses don't give a great deal of charity. Now you might ask, why is the Obama administration pushing loan modifications so much? I don't know that any of us really know the answer to that question. The reality is, if the Obama administration, or for that matter anyone in Washington, had wanted to help the homeowner, the answer is now, extremely simple. All that we need to do would be to slightly modify the bankruptcy law. As bankruptcy law is now written, a business is able to reduce the amount of its mortgages to the current fair market value of the property. Donald Trump can take one of his casino corporations, put it into bankruptcy, and reduce the amount of the mortgage to its current fair market value. The homeowner, however, can't do that. Why is it that businesses can do it, but the homeowner cannot? Well, frankly, the law discriminates. The law treats business one way and homeowners another way. That's extremely unfair. And if anyone in Washington wanted to do something to help the homeowner, this is what they would do. They would amend bankruptcy law so that it no longer discriminated against homeowners. It would permit homeowners to reduce the amount of their mortgage using the so-called strip-down power of the bankruptcy code. Until that happens, the homeowner really has no rights in this area. The amount of your home has decreased enormously in value. You want to reduce the mortgage to reflect that. Well, under current law, you can't. Loan modifications give you a chance to ask the bank to give away a great deal of money, but, no big surprise, banks don't like giving away lots of money. Consequently, this entire loan modification thing, while I have no doubt it was sincere and well-intentioned on the part of many people pushing it, has turned into a large non-event. It's basically been a failure. When the homeowner is told that loan modifications will help them, this is usually a cruel deception. This is usually a tremendous waste of their time. Every once in a great while, a loan modification will come through and actually be useful, but that's extremely rare.